Hey, Besiegers, how you doing? Welcome to the very last episode of 2015. So I thought I'd make it a bumper today. What you're going to see is you're going to see the world's first robotic sheepdog, Continental on sheep fields. And alongside that we have got... Okay, sorry, she's destroying that now, I'll tell you. We've got, oh yeah, a tank that does tricks. But that's much later on, and that's the big deal. That's the big build for the day. We also have a snowbike, which is like the sheepdog, but it's cooler, does more tricks, and we'll get into that in a big way as well. 2 machines for downloads, plus we've also got the first round of the new battle bots, Besiege Battle Bots, with the all new arena, and I finally got around to making a tutorial that shows you how to make these tracks that I've been so covetously using the past couple of weeks, so that everyone can get into it now. Okay, so let's get on with it. Sheepdog time. Right, so when I was building that tank, I thought, I wonder if it'd be possible to make a single set of treads run on its own if I just put in some kind of side stabilizer and something to make it tilt over so that it steers. It worked a treat. I was really surprised at how well it worked. So they look like training wheels, but they're not. It's actually there to make it turn left and right. And I had a lot of fun with that. And but I thought to myself, yeah, as good as it is, I could just improve that a little bit by putting on skis at the side and then putting a rider on the top and turning it into a snowmobile or snowbike, which is what we did. So this was a huge amount of fun. I spent hours playing with this thing and developing it. It's available for download, so it's been up for a couple of days, so I'll give you a link for that. Now, what the amazing thing about it is just its agility and the way the physics works. It seems to just behave like a real life, like a dirt bike, the way it slides about all over the place, you know? It's just incredible the way the physics handles things in this game. So I was quite impressed with that, quite happy with it. Hope you will be too. So give it a go and see what you think. And don't forget to leave a comment, and don't forget to upvote it if you do download it. Like that, front wheel stands, nose stands, or whatever you want to call them. It's just, it does it all. It's really great. It does donuts and wheelies. Look at that. Gotta love it. And he's even got a really cool visor on as well. And that's free. Without, I was just taking it off for this one, but yeah. So yeah, this is like I say, I've done the tutorial for these today so that I can show you how to make them. This is the best one because the cog is in the middle. That cog is acting as a rail to stop the track coming off, so you don't have to have it on either side of the wheels. So it really has made a big difference, both to the looks and to the performance of the thing altogether. And it just, again, can't get away with the physics engine, how it handles all this. It's looking good. So yeah, there we go. We'll just say bye bye to this guy. Bloodstained biker. Yeah. Right, next, okay, so we'll go into the tank proper now. This was the 2 sets of treads joined up. They're very fast and very agile, and again, this new track system with the cog in the middle worked very well. But a few people had asked me, it says, oh, why don't you put a turn in the tank? Why don't you get the tank proper tank? And you're right, of course, I was just being lazy. So this time I have built it up using both the Precision Builder and Editor to give it some, classic looks or some nice sort of tank looks. So it drives so well. It really does. And it's a heavy beast again, just like the last ones I was building. It's got a lot of metal in it, but you can throw it about all over the place. It does need invincibility, obviously, because the amount of torque that's in those wheels, it just rips it apart. And especially the turning torque. I had to do all sorts of things to get this thing to turn, to skid steer. But quite an unusual sort of setup. I've used a lot of different techniques in there, as you can see with the turret itself. There's a lot of editor and there's a lot of precision builder going on in there. It just seemed to suggest itself as it's going along. It designed itself based on what I was trying to do. It's got a slight Command and Conquer look to it, I think, a little bit. Yeah, it looks like a one of them made real. Sweet. Again, I had tons of fun with this, I really did. And as you'll see later on, we end up doing tricks with it, and you'll see that there's still some tricks to be done with it. It's based on a trick that I seen Algae do a long while ago when he went flipping over the grav pads. But anyway, the other thing is, of course, I put all the cans on it. That's all I had to use for weaponry. So if you've got it on infinite ammo, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's quite good. Knocking the shit out of things as you go around. Right. The other day, the Twist, Amazing Twist, said to me, why don't you try making a monocycle? He'd suggested it before and I tried it, I failed. So I thought I would give it another go. And that's what this thing is. It looks like an extra from Star Wars, it really does. But it is actually a monocycle. The monocycle principle is that the wheel track moves around the outside and the internals stay level, and which is what this does, as you can see. The insides are completely level. It's a long time to build. It's very, very complicated, and the turning mechanism didn't work so well. And there was no space for habitation or weaponry or anything on it. It was like a proper beast. It really did take up a lot of blocks and a lot of time. But I'd say I sort of managed it, apart from the turning bit. It'd be better if it could turn, but no way. So that's something for the future. Maybe try and develop that again. I think I just overdid it a bit with the thickness of the treads and the amount of wheels and the amount of businesses in it. Okay, let's go back to the tank then, and we'll try all these flip outs. Right, so what it was Algae ran out one of his tanks over the grav pad and it did a somersault, landed neat on the other side. So I thought, can I do that and fire those cannons just at the right time to take out that little house? I thought it'd be a lot easier than what it turned out to be. I mean, I did manage it, but I had to put some work in to get it done. So this is it slowed down. This is what I'm trying to do. It turns nice, doesn't it? Right over that, lands, bang, again missed. So you got to set up your cannons in advance before you even hit go. Cannons have got to be pointing what you think is the right way. So, another one. It's not a bad looking little tank though. I'm quite pleased with that. Look forward to building more as well. Sort of right into tanks just now, but I think I might give it a rest for a bit because this is the third week in a row I've done tanks, so I don't know about that. Oh, did we get it on this one? I think we just got it. There you go, there's the first one. But the trick was to sort of land upright after you've fired, and it didn't work that time, so that was it. But we kept plugging away, kept plugging at it. Yes, nice angle there, lovely. Still didn't land upright. So if you're going to download this, which it'll be available, give this a go yourself and let me know how you get on. It's a cool trick. It's really, it gets quite addictive after a while. And you could do it coming in the other direction. That's a nice shot, that one, and I think I'd just get over. If you're coming in the other direction from the centre of the sandbox outwards, you can flip back and fire and hit the three larger houses with the ones with the mines inside them. So that's always a good trick as well. So there we have it. That's it for the creation machine side of it. And one last flip over as we go. And we're out of there. What I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the new fighting arena. And we'll take it bit by bit and we'll go through all these fights. So, here we have FBsoldier versus Shade. FBsoldier is in the tracked vehicle and Shade is in the other one. I decided to put this fight up first. You like the new arena, by the way. It was designed by Neutex, and the clouds and the textures and all that are courtesy of Wang's mod. So it looks really nice. It looks really cool. Now, we had some new rules for this round. You were allowed to use ballistics and flames and all sorts of other things. A lot of people chose not to do it, and they went for the tracks and the heavy metal and the drills and the saws. And as you can see, what happens is you end up with machines that can't really do any damage, much damage to each other. They're heavy and they're slow and they're kind of lumbering. But this one was a little bit better than the last two efforts that they'd had by these guys. And so there was some improvement. I got hell from FBsoldier last time for not expanding his tracks, but I remember to do that this time. Anyway, the upshot of this one was FBsoldier won the first round because Shade's machine could inflict any damage on him whatsoever, and all the soldier could do was continually push him out. of the arena, which counts as was a technical knockout, straight win right away. So that's how that went. As you can see, again, it was just the same little dance over and over and over again, just kept pushing about. But Jade never once knocked a single spot off of the soldier or managed to push him back. So it was straight. It was a definite win there for FBsoldier, and that was that one. Okay, now we have Neutex versus, oh yeah, Phenom 3, of course. Now we've got two really seriously low profile machines here. Again, they've gone for the heavy metal, no projectiles. I think there's a couple of firers on this. It's been a while since I recorded this one, but it's so low profile. What they've both gone for is sticky arms, in that if you've got a brace and you brace it to something and it's not braced to the other side, it will stick to anything that comes along, comes in contact with it. So they've both used that technique, much more so Neutex. He's got it on his little extremities and on the front of his machine as well. Again, same problem again, as they go for the heavy metal, they go for the saws. Now Neutex, slightly differently, has got, he's used sort of ballistic type mines or grabbers on the front, so that if anybody gets close, he just gives them a quick blast and it sort of blows them almost out of the arena and causes some damage. So he was able to inflict damage and get him out of the arena a couple of times. But as you can see, because of those braces, they get into a right old state. Dropped bombs on them, and every time I did it, they were always nowhere near the actions. So there again, yeah, he's got a flipper on it, as you can see. Phenom's put flippers on his machine this time. He's made it a lot bigger, a lot meaner, and it wasn't a bad machine altogether. It really was, but its attack capabilities again, not really doing too well. And Neutex's does have he's put a lot of thought into it. It's quite a nasty machine. It's got a lot of things in there that can do a lot of damage. And he's not really got any, like to the side, maybe a little bit exposed, but he's not really got any weak side to it. And I say that low profile helps him a lot. But quite often they just got stuck to each other. And there was nothing really that Phenom could do with those extended drills. He would end up, as you can see, just flipping himself over. And now Neutex has still got the ability to fire off those mines that he's joined to, and therefore flick Phenom away, and that's what he did more often than not. So in this case you can see Phenom's been caught up with that web of springs and brace grabbers and everything. He's completely chewed up in it, he can't get away at all, whereas Neutex is free to wander. He's got full control over his machine, and that happened enough time that in the end we gave it to Neutex. So Neutex takes that win. There you go, Neutex. So we've got 2 winners gone through so far. Next up is ITR, who won the last competition, versus a newcomer, Cetz. And as you can see, Cetz has gone for a little speedy machine with only 2 missiles on it. No explosives, nobody used explosives. Well, not really, as in a missile. And ITR has gone for, now get this, he's used my fast walker, Wang Fiao's feet on it, and then he's built a separate unit that attaches that detaches from it, and that is the actual main body. So this thing is like a suicide bomber. It's supposed to go towards the adversary, blow itself up, and then he's left in the background, free to move and therefore to win. Now, it didn't really, that wasn't really in keeping with the rules, because when you charge, you're supposed to charge each other a couple of times. It's supposed to be the whole machine that goes forward, but we didn't tell him that, so he's exploited the rules there a little bit. However, he was a constant sitting duck for those missiles. So here, and definitely in a real live fight, Cetz would just continually use those bombs that he had on him against them, you know, use his own offense against them, or own defense against them, by constantly targeting those bombs. So not such a good idea, I don't think, to have so many exposed ones on the body. And very often, without actually doing anything, he would explode himself, because there was so much complexity, and so far it is a gangly affair. So there's bits all over the place. Now when it was his turn to come and try and get Cetz, right, his little guy at the back, he backs away and he accidentally goes into the rails. And now this is my walker and Wang's feet, and it's all over the place, bits breaking off. He's coming up here to do the business and self-detonate, and then all of a sudden, oh look at that, it's all over the place. Oh mess, boom, it just blows itself up. Yeah, and away you go. So he did that a few times, sometimes right from the get-go, sometimes after he's walked a little bit. So it was over complex and under-engineered, so it didn't fare well. Whereas Cetz had come out with a very, very simple machine, but it was very fast, and it had those lethal flying drills on it. So as you can imagine, in a one-to-one competitions, it picks them off again, no problem. In a one-to-one competition on a server with 2 players rather than just the one, Cetz would have won this, because he would just spin around all the time, picking them off from different angles. And ITR is too big, too lumbery, and too many mechanical failures. Cetz beats the champion. Whoa, newcomer takes out big guy, David and Goliath. So that's it for that one. Final bout, and here we go. We've got Mr. Trist, who's in this spinning pyramid here, and Algae at the background there, with a very complex jumping spider type character. So it's the spider versus the pyramid. The spider's got a front-loaded, full arsenal of ballistic grabbers that can knock the crap out of anything, and so he time and time again would fire them off and destroy them. Whereas the Twist has relied on fast spinning saws, which was our favourite with everybody, but as you can see, it doesn't do the kind of damage you think it's going to do. So, and quite often himself, his own momentum would end up being his undoing, because he would hit something, not being able to move from the shock of it, and the pyramid would come spinning off. After which he's got nothing on offer. The jumping spider by Algae would, more often than not, just knock him sometimes right completely out of the ring altogether. So it's a very, very destructive machine. This is his jumping abilities. I don't know what that was supposed to do, or even if it is supposed to jump like a spider, but it was absolutely hilarious to see it jumping up and down like that. It was cool. But his saws didn't do anything either. He could sit there all day with that saw trying to cut the Twist up, and he just couldn't do it. So the saws are useless. You would think they'd be good, but they're not. What you need is energy, ballistic energy. There's another ram make its way into the arena. Who do they think they are? Oh, sorry, I missed that there. And that's the Twist getting sent bye-byes. And the spider was upside down, and he managed to pull that shot off. But you know the score. If someone leaves the arena or gets chucked out, it's an automatic win for the other guy. And so, in the final bout, Algae takes that. And we'll see you for the next fight. Okay, next up, I'm going to do the tutorial. I'm doing this all in a single take. I don't know if I'm going to manage this or not. I have to re-record it. But anyway, the idea is that we use Precision Builder and Editor Plus to build a completely different kind of track. Right? Now, we use the ball joints, but if as you can see, you put them on at normal spacing, it's just too wide. Now, what I figured out was you can reverse clip them onto each other by using a negative number, and I use negative 0.35 in the placement offset. Now, everything I'm building along the red axis, yeah, because that's the one I found most easy to use. So if you use 0.35 in the last box of the placement offset, and then bash them in, you'll see that they sink back into each other, and that's the maximum I could squeeze them to before they started getting too stiff to bend round the wheels. So you just keep doing that until you get to the edge of a wheel, and then you go down to rotate axis. You put a 1 in the first box, and then I think it's 15, is it? We'll see in a second. It's 20 degrees, or minus 20, because we want to curve down. It's leave it as positive 20 to curve up, minus 20 to curve down. Right, now you just bash them in, and it was very tight, the 20 degrees, so I think I ran out of ability to, yeah, just about here, and so I had to sort of curve it back down. So you just, what you do is you can navigate this by putting in a couple of straight ones or putting in a positive angle to get you away from the wheel again, and then just counteract that. See, I've put in a positive one, and now I'll go a bit ahead and put in a negative ones again. There you go. So I've missed that collision with the wheel. Hope that makes sense to you. Just if there's any problems, ask me questions in the comments and I'll try to explain it better than this. So we'll just watch me faffing about with it, but you get the idea. You just navigate the chain around the way using plus or minus values in the rotate axis section, which is right underneath the placement offset. So you're using those two sections now, using placement offset to position the ball joint relative to itself, and then you're using rotate axis, yeah, for its angle in space as well. And so between the two of them, you can draw all the way around these wheels and then connect it up at the other end. It's simpler than I'm describing it to you. It's actually not that difficult at all. It really isn't. Right down at the bottom there you see position and rotation. For offset, use relative position and rotation. I should have the rotation one unchecked there, so this should always be done on position. Yeah. So because there's other points later on that you come to that starts to make a difference. But so we'll just fire away here. We'll keep going round. You notice I'm just dropping that number 1 in and out of the first box of the rotate axis to activate it and deactivate it. When I need to turn, I put a 1 in the box, and when I want it to go straight, I'll leave the box at 0. That's the very first box in the rotate around axis. Okay, see, I want to go straight again. Now there's one last trick that we've got to see, as we'll come up to it in a little second, is that it is going to be slightly out. Now, on the other ones that I made, I arrived back at this point in perfect line. So I've been a bit rough with this one, but it is an explanation. And you can see it's a bit too droopy as well. It's much droopier than the one I made. It's just a bit of practice. You just get it right. Make sure you take your time and get it as close to the wheels as you go round as possible. If you have to make a couple of diversions, fine, but counteract them with negative or positive numbers. And then, of course, you put your pistons in between the wheels to tension the whole tread. You then copy that track, or you do the same track on the other side of the cogs, and then you join each of the ball joints across with a single brace, so that all the pairs of ball joints have got a brace going across them. If you need to understand that more clearly, just download the machine and have a look at the treads the way they're built, and you'll see. We can leave this in a minute, and so you can see that's one complete track done on one side, and let's say it is just double it over onto the other side. Not using the editor plus, you actually have to build it on that one, or it's better to build it. Okay, the actual wheels themselves are large wheel, cog, large wheel. Now if you put them in at normal spacing, that's how wide they are. So what you want to do, now you use the editor plus, and you change the setting on the move to 1/10, so that's 0.10. Yeah, and then you highlight each individual piece and you move it with respect to the others 4/10. So you click it in 4 times and it will come up snug against the wheel. Yeah, and then the other one will get clicked 8 times because it's double 4, and that will bring that snug up against, as you will see. Now that causes a little problem in that you've passed the hitch point for the cog and the wheel behind it, and so the cog just falls out. Yeah, plus the two wheels are not attached to each other. So you want to amend that using braces, see? You want to amend that using braces, and what you do is, once you've got your spacing right, okay, you knock off, you put a block on the front of the front wheel, then you delete the wheel, and then you put a brace from the cog or from the rear wheel down through the front, and then you replace the wheel. Now you'll see that sounds complicated, but you'll see me do it in a second. You'll see me carry that technique out. And basically what you're doing is you're putting a series of braces in place. There we go. Click that one out. Select a brace, put it on. There you go, and now get rid of the block. Put the wheel back on, and it'll go back at its norm. Not that. Put the wheel back on, idiot. It will go back on at its normal spacing, and then you simply just knock it in 4 spaces again, 4/10 of a block in. Yeah, it's the round one, mate, the wooden one. That's it. There you go. And then highlight it, and then knock it in 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there you go. It's braced now to the cog, but we still want to get the inside one braced. So what I've done here, there's lots of ways of doing this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Is you get rid of the inside, the cog now, and then you attach the wheels to each other, and then you replace the cog, which is the route that I've taken here. So now you've got a brace that attaches a cog to the outside wheel, and the 2 wheels are braced together. So you get one complete solid unit. Now you put the cog on the outside, and this time you just highlight it and go in on 10ths again, and after a while it will go home. As you can see, watch, just tick 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 away in, and you just move it back into position. It seems a bit of a faff, but all you need to do is copy the whole wheel now, and then multiply it out 8 or 6 or 3 times or whatever it is you're building. So you build the one wheel and then you just copy it out. As you can see, it now is one solid wheel, and it returns the same way as all the rest of them. And that's how you make those wheels, and that's how you make the track. And so hope you have a lot of fun trying that yourself. Let me know how you get on, and let me know if there's anything else I can do to help. Alright, bye.